Going live. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Transparency and Merit. I'm here with Brian.
Hello.
And we're going to achieve some after Easter Stoicism, maybe.
Yes, hopefully we will have a better Easter next year when, this is all behind us. I don't know, though. It's like, my God, dude, it seems like, it really seems, Joe, I have more answers. I mean, I have more questions than I have answers. There are things I believe.
Okay.
But, man, this time being isolated in my house, not working, it certainly has had an effect on my mental and emotional state. And I don't know,
is that stimulus check going to help you?
What's that?
I said, is the stimulus check going to put you in a better mood?
No. I mean, money right now is still less of an issue for me. For me, the biggest issue right now is like just the feeling of kind of dread that, like, things are not going to go back to normal. I mean, a lot of the things that I like to do. And even, I lost my love for going to the movie theater and stuff after my parents died. I'd go on occasion and it wasn't that much fun just because it kind of made me miss my parents more. But now it's like, kind of like, man, when are we going to get those simple pleasures that we've been used to, going, even going to the live theater or going to a bar or a restaurant, the enjoyment of that. It's like, it's those kinds of things just overnight seem to have vanished because of this pandemic.
Okay.
And when are things?
I guess the question is, how many of these things were enriching your life, and how many of these things were you taking for granted? And how many of these things were you helping make better when you had the opportunity to? These are the questions I'm asking myself, not to you or anyone else. I'm just,
No.
I'm saying, what could I have done to make things better? So when we do get back to regular commerce as usual, what role can I play, and how can I play it differently than maybe my apathetic past?
Well, I mean, right now, I think we got to look like, are things going to come back, and if things are going to come back. Right now, there is probably a great deal of anxiety out there that the world that they knew is not coming back. Everything has basically changed. My friend on Facebook posted like opening doors with their foot. Like they had foot openers for their doors. We can't touch anything. Giving people hugs. I mean, people spent their Easters without their families. Now I don't have my family. And I have my brother, but my immediate family, my parents, are both deceased. And yeah, we don't have things like this. This year is really strange, and it's really kind of it's really bad. And I want some answers, and I want to know, like, could we have prevented something like this? And like I said, there are beliefs that this is unreal. We can't even talk about it,
Right.
on a large scale. We have the internet, which is supposed to be free and open. Like, it was at one time was free and open for everybody. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, I have my theories on that. And I think they're good. I think they're backed fairly solidly. But, all of a sudden censorship came down, and now even more, and now mainstream, these internet sites, the big social media sites, are censoring the hell out of people.
That is very real. It's happening right now. And it's been a difficult journey as we go through this. Our language has become more and more restricted. Seen it right here on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can't put certain words in the title.
Yeah. I had a friend on Facebook
got taken down halfway through the show.
Yeah, no, we did. And
you have a friend what?
I have a friend on YouTube who was censored. I mean, not on YouTube, but a friend on Facebook who was basically censored. And I don't think it was for really any good, any good reason why that happened, but it did happen. And it wasn't actually about the.
All right, so okay, you're depressed. You're not feeling good. What are you doing to make yourself feel good?
Yeah.
We all have to make ourselves feel good. We can't let Uncle Sam rub our bellies. We can't rely on anyone to just give us back rubs through this. You got to really try. And whether that if your home needs or lacks organization, work on that. If you have goals, this is the perfect time. If you have a goal, which you do, you have a lot of goals. Is there ever been a better time to execute those goals? Never in history has there been a better time to break the chains of a bad, I don't say bad, but this is a breakaway moment if you want it to be. You can remain in chains all you want.
Yeah,
you can go back to work when they open the doors and resume life as normal when that day happens. You're lucky you have a job waiting for you when you return.
Okay.
But in the interim, what are you doing? What changes are you? This is about you. For some reason, people want to go out and look for the answer. What could we have done to avoid this? Are you kidding me? This probably has been planned. I don't know. I'm not going to go down that road. I'm just saying.
Well, right now it's like
perfectly executed coup, if you've asked me.
I mean, this is right now. You're right. This is actually a perfect time to gain your skills, to get to get your knowledge base in order, and if you have it, we're lucky that we live in the digital age that we do, because we can meet online and we can take care of things online and not have to meet people, I guess, face to face. I mean, certain portions of our economy don't necessarily need face to face meetings, so we can do that. And we can in general probably maybe work on ourselves. And I probably myself, one of the things that I've done is I've engaging a lot in Twitter and YouTube videos about this pandemic, and trying to fight my best fight against censorship. Like, to me, the biggest issue for me right now is online censorship, because it's more because we can't go out in public right now, and then on top of that, why are you putting midnight? Why did you put Midnight Cowboy in there?
Because you seem to make it at the top of the list for every show we do now. We've done 2 movie lists, and Midnight Cowboy's been #1 both times.
Did we do 2 movie lists? And did we do? Was it on Friendship?
Yes.
Did we actually do 2 movie shows on Friendship?
No, we did 2 different list shows with movies, and both movie lists had
Midnight Cowboy.
Midnight Cowboy is #1.
It might have been the 1969 film, but yeah, I mean, and this is kind of, like, we're kind of in a Midnight Cowboy world where, like, things are scarce. In the movie Midnight Cowboy, things were scarce because of money, and they're going to be scarce because of money right now as well. I mean, a lot of Americans are going to have to live maybe in abandoned buildings, and try to, eke out a meager living, because the economy's shut down, and, shelves are bare. That people had to turn, food banks had to turn people away. Another film that may be, like, Soylent Green, or one of these disaster pandemic films that, they were kind of like, this kind of scenario has never lived out in the world before. All these, like, the future's really crappy. We're living it now. We're living one of these, like, these kind of scenarios where, the future is more bleak than the present. These are some dark days ahead, and you have to realize that these could be, or at least these could be very dark days ahead, and there may not be a light.
Does anybody want to call and cheer this man up?
There may not be a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't want to be cheered up. I want to be real. I want to be real. I don't want to be, cheered up. I don't want to be cheered up. I want to be real.
Well, if you want to be real, then,
so many people are fake right now. And a lot of this kumbaya stuff, I mean, we've all been fake, man. Some of this stuff, like, I this is no time. This is probably not a time for ego, man. It's just like, we're all, all of us are in this boat together. We're all struggling, both, trying to protect our health, and we're all struggling. Like, many of us are struggling economically, if not, just about all of us. We're all, like, afraid that, if you're not seeing that the bottom could fall out and there could be massive suffering, you're in another world. So I do, like, man, like, what's going to happen next?
let's take a call. What do you got to say?
I want every slant out of America.
That's not pleasant. I don't go that. I would never go that far. But you're entitled to your belief. And look, I believe in freedom of speech. But
how about just the Chinese ones?
Well, I mean, many are American citizens.
Well, we'll have to keep them. But any who are not, gone.
So, but the dialogue that Brian is saying here is that we've been attacked.
I told him that earlier. Yes, we've been attacked.
And that is that is the belief of a lot of people. That and Joe doesn't like that. And you know what? I mean, it looks that way to me.
That not only look that way, it is that way. You've been attacked.
You know what? All arrows point that America has been attacked. And I do wish you had used the word slant eye, because I don't want to use anyone's race against them. Anybody can be a racist, but America's been attacked.
Not everybody can be a racist. Everybody can be a bigot. You can't always be a racist. Don't use the word racist when bigot will do.
Okay, that's but yeah, I mean, I believe that we've been attacked, and that our lives are not going to be the same because of this pandemic.
Well, this is a pandemic, but it was brought on by a biologically created bioweapon created by the Chinese with our money. We gave them over $3.5 million to that lab. We also trained all the people in that lab, Canada and the United States.
So did the left, or did America? So America basically assisted in its own in this pandemic. They assisted the Chinese.
Not only did they assist, but they also allowed China to take over the supply chain. And now we're going to assist in our own hanging.
I mean, the thing is, doesn't China own a lot of our debt? And doesn't China own a lot of land in this country?
Oh, I think we can negate all that debt by the amount of money that they owe us for the damage that they've caused. I don't think we owe China anything.
Okay. Do they also? But do they also own a lot of real estate? Don't they?
Couple of congressional get-togethers, and we can fix that.
Won't that? And then China has been buying our real estate and basically propping up our real estate market. Won't the real estate market bubble burst if we do that?
We can nationalize it and take it away from them. Trump can do it with an executive order. And he should do it.
What will that cause any pain, like financial pain on people, though? I mean, because something like that would.
Compared to what? Compared to what's happening right now and what's coming? I think it pales in comparison.
Because if we do that, something like that could exacerbate our financial collapse.
Are you afraid? Are you afraid? Well, you're going to financially collapse anyway. Are you afraid of China?
I'm afraid of I'm afraid of further exacerbating our financial collapse.
Well, they just printed $2 trillion. So they wanted to print another $2 trillion, right? Where'd that money come from? Came out of thin air.
Are we headed for? Do you think we're headed for a depression?
You have no way of stopping it. I suggest you buy gold. Put some of your money in gold.
Yeah.
You can't stop this. I told you the reason why the rest of the world got infected. Chinese knew that it was transmissible from human to human. They knew that in December. They lied. They made dissenters disappear. They hid it from everybody. The WHO, the World Health Organization, run by that not Dr. Tedros, that scumbag who's a Maoist piece of shit. Where's he from? Ethiopia? Or keep forgetting what country he's from. Keep reminding myself to look it up. I think he's Ethiopian.
I'm not
But he was a terrorist. The State Department listed him as a terrorist. He runs the World Health Organization. And he's not a doctor. Not an MD. Got a PhD. But he's not a doctor. And they lied for the WHO lied for China. China lied to everybody. And what's the result? The world got infected. And while China was sending everybody out of Wuhan into the United States, which they had to know were infected, they told the Chinese in January to buy up all the face masks and protective gear. And the Chinese sold all that stuff back into China. Not only did they make sure that we got infected, but they also made sure that we couldn't protect ourselves. Even to this day, can you find a mask?
Not the. Now, let me ask you this: who were the Americans involved in this fraud? I mean, did they help perpetuate it? I mean, because the president even downplayed it to a point because I guess he believed the World Health Organization, but a lot of other people, is there going to be investigations on who was responsible?
Well, let's not forget. I listened to that Dr. Fauci today, who claimed that nobody tells him what to say. Wasn't he telling people in January and February that nothing to worry about? It's not going to be bad. Not going to be a problem at all. Wasn't that him?
Yes.
And so who should Trump believe? So if Trump believed Fauci was telling everybody what the WHO was telling the world. No problem. Won't be a big deal. Don't worry about it. You know, we got everything under control. Well, they had nothing under control, did they? Totally full of shit. By the way, Chinese didn't just buy up face masks and protective gear in America. They bought it up in Germany, in Australia, anywhere where there was civilization. They bought all that stuff up and sent it back to China. Did you hear that Huawei sent a whole bunch of face masks and protective gear to Italy? Did you hear about that?
No.
Great humanitarian company, all these sending all this gear and whatnot back to Italy. Well, they didn't send it for free. They charged the Italians millions and millions of dollars. When the Italians opened up the protective gear, what did they find? It was the gear they had donated 2 months prior.
Now, RD said, "Is there going to be a recession?" I did, and I want to mention that I did not say recession. I said depression.
Well, you're in a recession right now.
Yeah, I asked. Yeah, I already know that we're in a recession. I asked, are we going into a depression, a Great Depression? Depression's different than recession.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You're going into it. Got no choice.
There you go.
When do you think that all this social distancing is going to be over? When do you think that someone's going to magically ring the bell and say it's okay to come out of your homes? It's okay to get together with other people. Tell me, a month, 2 months, 3 months? When's it going to happen?
I don't know.
Oh, that's helpful.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Did I hear somebody?
You did. Yeah, no. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's helpful to put your head down and say, I don't know. Throw your hands up in the air. I don't know.
I don't know. I can't.
Honestly tell you, right?
Well, how are we supposed to know?
There we go.
I know.
When?
It ain't going to be in 1 month. It's not going to be in 2, and it won't be in 3. You'll be doing this for another 12 months to 18 months at least.
RD says most European schools are reopening this month.
Yeah, that won't happen. And if it does, the kids will start to get infected, and they'll cut that out real quick. They'll lose a couple children, and that'll be the end of that.
Yes, we are taking calls. If anybody does want to join us.
You don't have anybody that can call in that knows as much as I do.
Maybe not. So,
No, you know what I'm telling you is right.
now the main, and I've noticed, by the way,
Accept it all day long for some reason. I don't know why. If I try to say what my thoughts, no way, no go. This jackass calls in and he agrees all day long. Of course you're right.
This jackass knows more than you do. This jackass doesn't think
okay.
This
all right, man.
doesn't think the earth
I'll
is
go
flat.
on. I'll go on mute and listen. Go ahead, man.
Well, I noticed though, Howard, that the mainstream media is not talking about China's involvement as much as they are talking about Trump's incompetence, or Trump's so-called incompetence about the issue. At least CNN is not even talking at all about Trump's incompetence. I think if you put yourself on mute, Joe, you put Howard on mute too.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Dummy.
Go for it. I'm on mute still.
What a Jewish producer, I'll tell you. You're great with the buttons. So, who do you think starts all these things that say, well, if you say that the virus is Chinese, that's racist against Asians, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but tell me something. Are all Asians Chinese?
No.
All Chinese are Asians, though, right?
Yeah.
So, how is saying that the virus is Chinese racist against Asians? I don't think it's even racist against the Chinese, considering the CNN called it the Chinese Wuhan virus back in February. If you had read that timeline that I sent you, you'll see that all the media outlets were calling it the Chinese whatever, including Jim Acosta, that smarmy little cocksucker who sits there and says, oh, well, that's racist. You can't say it's Chinese. Why? We can't talk about the origin of this thing. Is there any doubt in your mind that this came out of China?
Not really.
Okay. Any doubt in your mind that when you found out that in Wuhan, there happened to be a level 2 and a level 4 biolab within 20 miles, one only a few feet from in the city of Wuhan, and another a little bit outside of Wuhan? Any doubt that it came out of one of those biolabs?
Not really.
Did you know the Chinese boasted 5 years ago about being able to take coronavirus from bats and make it go to humans? Did you know they boasted about it?
That I did not.
In their own scientific journals. But you're not supposed to pay attention to that. No. This is the COVID-19 virus. Well, who named the virus COVID-19? Do you know?
No.
The World Health Organization, run by Dr. Tedros. I don't know how to say his other name, but this is not a pandemic. There is a chance that that the world can stop this before it becomes a pandemic. Didn't he say that when 18 countries had it starting to go all over their countries?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a pandemic. Is not Dr. Tedros a mouthpiece for the Chinese?
It seems that way.
The United States has been a willing dupe for the Chinese. The United States not only funded their virus research, the United States not only taught their virologists how to do what they do. France paid for that level 4 biolab in Wuhan. Now, I'm not sure who paid for the level 2 biolab that's in Wuhan. So the West has paid for their demise, all due to China. And when China floated that idea that the virus was planted by the U.S. military, well, they stopped doing that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did the Chinese do? The Chinese by the way, the Chinese and the Russians are in the disinformation game when it comes to this wonderful virus, the one that Joe says doesn't exist. All right.
Don't drag me into your nonsense. Go for it, man. You got the floor. Go ahead.
It's my nonsense, all right. That's why you're sitting there with
Your
your thumb
nonsense.
up
Go for it.
your eyes nice and wide.
I'm
all your
working.
little
I'm working
movements,
full
all your
time,
little
and
mouth.
I'm happy. So I'm going for it. So go
You
on.
think the Earth is flat. Most people think you're an idiot.
I've never said that.
No, tell me what you did say.
The Earth is misdescribed, but we'll save that for another show. We'll save that for another show. Go on.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Keep on going.
So is the Earth flat or not?
You can go with keep on going, or you can leave.
Oh yeah, of course. It gets real tough for you. Is the virus real or is it not real?
Brian, what would you say?
I would say yes, it is.
All right, there you go. You got your answer, buddy.
What do you say? Is the virus real or not?
We're not going down that road tonight, but this is between you and Brian. I'm just gonna catch the flow.
Well, I've already talked to Brian.
I haven't heard Brian say much to you. Actually, I'd like to hear more of what Brian's thinking, because really he's sitting up, he's upset and he's wallowing, and I want to know if this sort of discussion is motivating him. And it's
you ought to be angry.
That's what I'm figuring out here. Are you angering him? Is he becoming more angry, or is he being motivated to take an opportunity, a nugget of opportunity to do what he wants to do? I'm curious to see which way Brian goes. Maybe he'll just sit there, wallow, and get angry, because that'll help him make all the best decisions he can make.
Well, we should all be angry with China.
In fact, everybody out there listening should be adopting this very notion. Sit there, wallow, get depressed, and then start yelling for war against China. Great idea, guys. Great idea.
So you're in a war.
That is wonderful, man. That is wonderful. That's the best thing I've heard this week.
You're in a war already. Yeah, that's right. You're in a war already. What makes you think you're not?
We are at war. You're right. They have the Surgeon General made some very very harsh comments
about.
Well, he said that this is our 9/11 moment, our Pearl Harbor moment. Whatever other hoax event he wanted to throw in there moment. And so those were damning words. And if it's true,
the word hoax. So what are you referring to when you say hoax?
Well, that has nothing to do with the conversation. I'm saying what the Surgeon General said
You just said you just said use the word hoax in relation to the
he didn't
Surgeon
use
General.
that. No, he didn't use
What?
that word. No,
You used
he
the
didn't.
word.
No, he didn't
You
use
did.
that word.
You did.
Why did you say he
You
did?
used the word.
Get out of here.
You used the word.
Listen,
You want to bet me a handful of gold when you play back that you didn't use the word hoax?
Listen,
you know,
what I said was, go back and listen.
I don't need to listen. I heard what you said the first time.
Then you don't need to ask. Go on. Move on.
Move on.
Move on. Let's go.
Let me
Move
finish,
on.
guys.
Move on.
Right now.
Move on.
Let me hold on. All I know right now is that I am stuck here like many other people around the world, limited movement around the home, and I can't do things out of enjoyment or anything else that I used to be able to do. And I am upset about that. I believe, like Howard, that this was caused by China. I don't know how to resolve the issue to the best. I don't know what the next course of action should be. I don't know what I should do financially with my savings and money. I've heard buy gold. That's also a risky proposition. I'm looking into that now. I am overeating quite a bit, just because that fasting. I mean, I try it, but then the urges come up again to just eat crap. And like I'm a little bit depressed and sullen and whatnot.
But you don't do any exercise, do you?
No.
I do a little bit of exercise. I walk around. I take a few walks around the block.
Good. That's good.
But I don't exercise as much as I should.
So here's what you do. Do you have a swimming pool at your condo?
I don't know. I live in an apartment complex, and it has no swimming pool.
Okay. So what exercise do you have available to you?
I have an elliptical, but it kind of hurts my knees.
Does walking hurt your knees?
Not really.
Okay. So get on Amazon right now.
Yeah.
And go get yourself some Nordic walking sticks and start walking at night when nobody's around. Unless you live in a bad neighborhood, you're going to get mugged.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't live in a bad neighborhood. Luckily, I do not live in a bad neighborhood. And
then take walks at night when nobody's out.
Yeah.
Play music that makes you happy.
That's a point. Too.
I walk 3 miles. I walk 3 miles a night.
Yeah. Are you fasting?
No. I'm cooking.
It's hard to get. Well, I guess I got to get a delivery service that delivers my food for me. I mean, the delivery service is like
load up. You better get yourself loaded up now, and start building yourself a pantry, because the food chain is going to be disrupted. And I suggest you get yourself a nice shotgun. You're going to need it.
Yeah.
Who's going to call when the hordes? How close are you to Compton?
Not that close.
Oh, that's good. You need to think about, one, diversifying your money, and I would get yourself out of U.S. dollars. Get yourself some gold in your portfolio. Buy yourself some bags of silver, and use that to buy things when everything goes to shit. Or is that misdescribed too? Like the earth.
Where else? Let me ask you this, Howard, about these preparations. Where else are people talking about what's going on and how we should prepare.
Well, this is no different. Look, this is no different than any natural emergency or any other type of emergency. You're going to have a breakdown of civil society. Plus, you're going to have a lot of people going batshit crazy because they're stuck inside, and they're stuck inside with themselves, and they can't stand themselves, like somebody who's being quiet right now. And so they take it out on themselves, and they eat themselves alive, which is why they become shrill, and they start to get upset when given facts. They can't deal with the facts. A lot of people aren't going to be able to deal with this social distancing, especially these millennials who are absolutely ill-equipped. They don't have any of the skills that are necessary. They don't know how to live without to live by themselves. They don't even read books. They wouldn't even meditate. They wouldn't know how to do it. But you need to run, get yourself some food. Make sure you got enough of your medicine. And you better have a shotgun or something to protect yourself, because things are going to start to get messy, especially people living in cities like you.
Well, shit. We're all going to meet our maker someday, Howard.
What does that mean? I'm not meeting my maker anytime soon. And I'm not, and I don't have any kind of death wish, nor do I have this belief that maybe you do that, well, you know what, nothing we can do about it. When your time comes, your time comes. That's a bunch of horse shit.
Someone wants to ask about the T-cell reduction in the COVID victims.
The fuck does that mean?
I shouldn't have said that word.
First of all, these doctors have no idea what they're dealing with. I bet you they can't even make a vaccine for this thing.
Yeah, that
whole Bill Gates thing. Everybody, you got Fauci. You got a lot of people playing in the background. Fauci was a big proponent of this Dr. Tedros, who's not a doctor, not an MD. He's the first head of the World Health Organization who's not a doctor. He was put in there by China. He was paid for. Did you know that China hired a PR firm to get him in there?
I did not know that. Do you think Congress will do
the whole thing you've ever said?
Let me ask you this: do you think Congress will do an investigation on China?
Do I think Congress will do an investigation? No, they're too busy trying to investigate Trump. And why would that be? Because they've got their hands in China all over the place. The left is absolutely entrenched in China. You're all using that Zoom program that everybody's talking about. Servers are in China. The Chinese government, it's not encrypted to where the people who have the servers can't see what you're talking about on Zoom. All these people who are in companies that compete with China, the Chinese are watching all the stuff that you do. They have thousands of people who do nothing all day but post on Twitter. They got thousands of people that post on Instagram. Thousands of people who put out disinformation. Thousands of people watching what you're doing on Zoom. And who's the marketing director for Zoom? You know?
No. Oh, yeah, I do. Who is it? Someone just
Yeah. Who is it? Tell me.
Someone just told me. Damn it. I forgot.
Did they? Yeah, it must have made a great impression. You can't remember. Nancy Pelosi's daughter.
Oh.
Nancy Pelosi's daughter. The Chinese guy that owns supposedly Zoom, it's owned by the Chinese. Their servers are in China. They didn't put Zoom on Amazon, on AWS, on Amazon Web Services. Nope. They got servers deep in China. When you connect with somebody on Zoom, you're connecting to China, and somebody's watching and recording what you're talking about. Would it be stupid enough to talk about company secrets? No, the Chinese know. Why did the Chinese have all this technology? Who gave it to them? Do you know? Who gave the Chinese the technology to aim their missiles? Put satellites in space. Can you tell me that?
What satellites?
And all the Chinese satellites that are up there floating around in space. Who gave them the technology to do that? I'll give you a hint. Happened back in the 90s.
Yeah, I'm seeing that right now. Just tweeting that here. The gentleman with the World Health Organization.
I'll give you a keyword to look up. Loral. Loral. Just look up Bill Clinton and Loral, and you'll be amazed at what you get. Bill Clinton gave them the technology.
I thought it was Arthur C. Clarke. My bad.
Yeah. Arthur C. Clarke was probably misdescribed. It was Loral, and it was Bill Clinton who let the Chinese have the technology. That's why the Chinese are able to make missiles. That's why they're able to aim their missiles and use the guidance needed to get them to where they need to go. They didn't have that back in the 90s. They were kind of backwards back then until our Democrats helped them. Because that's what we want to do. We want to help the Chinese. Did you read the timeline I sent you?
I read bits and pieces of it. Do you think America's headed for like a cold civil war?
I think America is headed for war, and that war is going to be with China.
What kind of war?
Civil war? What kind of civil war?
Well, I mean, the left and the right didn't get along before now. There have been Americans have, guns are flying off the shelves.
As well they should.
On both, and probably on both sides. Will there be, will America turn into, will it turn into a balkanized, I wonder if America will turn into somewhat of a balkanized nation.
It's going to be black versus white. It's going to be city dwellers versus everybody else. Who are the city dwellers? You may think of yourself as the city dweller, but who are the majority of the people in the city?
I suppose.
Say it.
What, are you talking about blacks and browns?
Well, I don't really discriminate between blacks and browns. Black people. Who is the virus hitting the worst in the country? Black people or white people?
They've said black people.
Black people, yeah. So you don't think that that's going to be enough impetus for these people to start problems? And when the food chain is disrupted and they have nothing to eat and they have no money because they don't have they can't put any scratch together for anything, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to have it. They're not. And tell me what comes next.
Well, I mean, look, I don't want to go. I don't want to go that far yet. I mean, right now we have, food. Look, if food runs out, people are going to act in their own interest, and if survival becomes, if it's about survival, human beings are going to act in their own interest.
Okay, are you gonna go into the black neighborhoods and start killing black people and stealing their food?
No.
Black people going to come into the white neighborhoods and start killing white people and stealing their food?
Well, you asked if I would do that. I mean, look, people are going to go into places. Okay.
I asked what you would do. I asked what you would do as a white man.
If
What
I
do you
was in need of food,
happen?
you know what? You know what, Howard? I've never been in the position where food was not available. That will be a first for me. I don't know how. I'll go, but I guarantee you, if that happens, I'm going to try to survive in the best way I can. I can't take it personally.
That be? And what would that be?
What's that?
What would that be? Tell me how the best way to survive that would be.
One way is I've been growing food for a very long time. And I've been encouraging everyone around me to do the same. Nobody's listening.
Most of your garden is growing illicit drugs.
Why would you make such an assumption? But let's get back to the point here. Now, me being an apartment dweller, I don't have a backyard where I can grow things. I guess I can plant seeds and stuff like that and continue to grow that way. I'm not sure.
Let me ask you a question that I think should be asked. You inherited a fair amount of money when your father died, yes?
Relevant to any conversation, but go ahead.
It is relevant. It is relevant to this conversation.
It's relevant to this conversation. Are you stupid?
Why don't you butt out for a second? So I'm asking you.
Relevant
are you
to
able
no
to
conversation.
Leave job?
It's relevant to none.
I'm not talking to you.
Let me just say this.
And move out of the city.
Jackass. Get out of here.
Are you able to leave your job and move out of the city?
Give me a break.
Here's the deal. I you know what? I do have money.
Into this conversation.
I do have money.
Do you have enough money that you could get out of the city?
Wow.
And give up your job?
For a time being, yes, I can. But I do have health issues.
Well, your health issues would be better off someplace out of the city because you got smog issues in that city anyway. Probably not now because there's not much traffic. The question that I asked you though was, are you able to afford leaving where you are, going someplace that's a lot more rural, a lot safer? Because you don't want to really be near a city in the middle of one of these emergencies. And if there's no food, you're a lot better off out someplace where it's a lot more rural. You don't see the logic in that?
Yeah. No, I see. Yeah. I mean, I certainly. Yeah.
I asked you if you have enough money that you inherited that you can get up now and say, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm going to go someplace where I got a lot more distance from other people and a lot more distance from the city dwellers who, when they have no food, they're going to come and take yours. And they already don't like you. You're not going to be the one that's going to go into the city and start knocking off black people for their food. But I don't think you can say the same thing for the black people who are going to come out of the city and start knocking you off for your food.
A lot of poor people are going to do a lot of things to get food.
Well, then I would be far away from them. Let the other chumps stick around. In fact, I hope most of the liberals stick around. I wasn't that upset when they kept saying about all the people dying in New York City, because I figured that most of those people that were dying were from the left anyway. They needed to go.
Well, I'll tell you something, Howard. I have a little bit more compassion for anyone that loses their life.
Not me.
Well,
These
there are
people
plenty of people who
are
are on the left or the right. When you know, and I don't want to see anybody lose their life. I don't want to lose my life, but I don't want to see any children lose their lives. You know, I want to see as limited loss of life as possible.
Well, what does that mean?
It means I want to see.
Is that really true?
That's what I said. I want to see as limited loss of life as humanly possible. And
Okay.
I have compassion. I mean, I have compassion for most human beings that that are going through this. And if they get this, I have compassion for them. You know, because they're for the grace of, and I don't believe in God, but you know, they're for the grace of nature goes me. I could be in that circumstances, and I want people to have the same compassion for me as I would for them. I mean, I try to treat people the way they would want to be treated, and we're certainly not at the point.
Treat you that way.
What's that?
But there's lots of people who don't think that way. They could give a shit about you.
Well, hopefully, you know what? Right now, I haven't. You know, we've been social distancing, and I haven't necessarily run into too many people like that. There are people who are fanatical, who think a certain way. They're mainly online. I haven't met any in person. Online, there are fanatical anti-racist that that I see is dangerous and ignorant. But on average, I certainly, most people are just trying to survive day to day at this point. And I don't like the woke left. I think they're ignorant, and they're very arrogant, and they have very big egos. But I think as things start to kind of strike down, although the ego is hard to die, you're going to see less and less of that. And hopefully we can see more people being a little bit more realistic about our threats. And, you know, things like law and order may make a comeback, and people may start being more decent after this. That's my idea. What's that? When's that
going to happen?
It's already happening.
Well, you know what? You don't know. You know what the truth is right now? There are a lot of variables that aren't seen right now, and it may not happen. I'm like, you know, like I said, I could, you know, I for one, I could die at any time. One day we'll all be dead. You know, we live one time on this earth.
But what does it mean?
What does it mean? It means we live.
Sounds like you've given.
What's that?
Sounds like you've given up.
I haven't given up. I'm just telling it the way I see it. We live, you know, one day we're all going to die.
You don't strike me. Okay, but you don't strike me as a religious man, correct?
No. I don't.
Okay, so
I don't believe in the supernatural.
When is your time? When's your time? Tell me.
Well, I guess we're all going to die. The question is how and when.
Okay. You're too close to the inner city.
I could die by the means of the inner city. You know, most people die by natural causes. I'm not that close to the inner city where that may be a problem, but there's always, you know what? There's always the unknown. There's always
you could move to Alaska and get gored by a moose. I mean, a lot of things could happen.
Yeah.
But what's more probable?
More probable?
Yeah.
If people are, you know what? I'll tell you this, Howard. If people are poor, if people are hungry, they're going to be savage no matter what race, no matter what gender. If they're starving,
Mhm.
People aren't going to, what I've read about starvation, it makes you insane. So if people are real, if they're hungry and it's up to their survival, they're going to do whatever they have to do to get what they get. We're not at that point yet, and I don't want to get there.
Okay, and during the Great Depression, did all those white people who had no money and no food, were they killing each other?
There was the Donner Party.
Okay, but by and large, were those people out killing each other? Was there complete mayhem? The answer is no.
You know what I mean? What I've looked at is, on average, people of European descent, and look, I could be certainly wrong about this, seem to be a little bit more humane when it comes. You know what? I take that back. You know what? I don't know enough to make a decision. I've never been through that. I've been hungry, and look, man, I got pissed off. When I was a kid, and someone ate the last piece of cake, I was ready to murder. So times that times 1,000, when people are starving, they're going to do whatever they can to get, like if resources become scarce, human beings are going to are going to go into a Darwinian and primitive state, and that's not what we want. Because
you see the series Jericho.
No.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. No, I haven't.
I suggest that you go on Netflix or Hulu or wherever it is.
Why? And get information from a TV show?
Can you shut up for a second and not interrupt me? Because you have nothing
reference
really to say.
Television? Get out of here.
I suggest
True intellect right there.
I suggest you watch the series Jericho. Jericho was pulled off the air after the first season. They tried to kill it because it was so based in truth and it was real. It scared the shit out of people. They sort of got through their second season. I don't think they finished it, but they did a really good job of what happens when society breaks down, and it's worth watching.
Really?
Because you can learn a lot
from what happens. Okay.
From that particular. I'm sorry, are you interrupting me? Did you have something to say?
I can't believe you're referencing a TV show depicting something that. Okay.
Well, I don't listen.
They did a good job of the breaking down of society.
I don't listen to you because mainly you're an actor.
I wonder how you know this.
Really,
I'm wondering.
I can't believe anything.
I wonder how you know this, though. How did that TV show depict accurately the breaking down of society?
Well, if you watched it, then you would know. Why don't you watch it and then make a comment instead of making comments without watching it?
Because it was visually appealing to you. It worked.
Or
okay.
are you or is it just described?
Now, August August has said, I don't know how to say his last names. Have you morons ever been hungry, not just late for dinner? You know what? I have been hungry. I haven't been starving, but I've been.
That was a two-part comment.
Where I have missed. You'd eat dog and fight for the bones.
You'd eat dog and fight for the bones.
That is from one of my favorite movies, Hombre. You'd eat the dog.
I gave you good advice. My advice to you is to get yourself out of the city.
I mean, I'll certainly look into that. Right now, I'm looking into seeing how much I can discipline myself to not eat as much. And I haven't been very successful.
How's that going to solve your problem of being too close to people that don't follow the rules, that don't follow social order?
So let me just recap. Let me recap here.
Yes, please.
Okay, so Brian should now adopt notion of going to war with China. He should move from his city that he lives in out of fear, and he should, for a reference of how it all goes down, should go and watch a TV show. Okay, wonderful info tonight.
Yeah,
I'm real proud of you tonight.
Lived next to a volcano, if Mr. Midnight Movie lived next to a volcano that was erupting,
Real proud of you.
I would suggest to get out of the way.
I'll tell you this. So how is not eating as much going to help me? I mean, like how it will help my circumstances? Number one, it will curb my diabetes. Number two, if I have the discipline to eat less, I'll be able to store and save more food, which will also help me.
Mm-hmm.
So
until the blood pressure come out of the
I mean, fasting is good for both mental and physical well-being, at least on my end, because I'm diabetic. And
well, that's when you're fasting and the black people come to take your food. What are you going to tell
them? Save some for me. I mean, what am I going to tell anyone who tries to take my food or take?
Do you even have cash
in the bank?
On hand,
do you
of
have
course.
Cash? Do you have cash?
No. Nope.
Why not?
Just don't think about it.
I suggest you give it some thought. What are you going to do if things break down and you can't get money out of a cash machine? Then what?
Wow, more fear. Better live your life in with more fear, Brian.
First of all, nobody asked you. It's called
he should just
prepared.
bend over and take it from you all night.
Maybe the world's going to just shove it deep inside.
Tells us where you're at, though, Jew.
Maybe the world, like I said, you know what?
If you're living by any of these protocols and all of them, you sound like you must be a bundle of worry.
You know what, Joe? How about you help me get some cyanide pills right now? Like when that happens,
there we go. One and done.
One and done. Wait a minute, I have a call here.
That should be Angela. I tried to bring her in. She didn't answer.
Is this Angela?
I had the virus twice.
Oh no. You had it twice.
4 times.
What? But you were a smoker before this happened, so you were clearly, well, you were a vapor before this happened. That probably put you at risk.
Now I don't know if I can just bring Joe. Can you? His name is Pat Campbell Hates. I don't know if we could just. Whoop. If I could just bring Joe. Can you? His name is Pat Campbell Hates. Yeah, I'm gonna bring him to the call, and then you can add him in.
I can't because I don't have him anywhere.
Dumbass doesn't know how to play.
No, I don't have him added to my list. I don't.
I'm gonna add. I'm gonna add you to the call. I'm gonna hang, and then I'm gonna hang up on both of you.
He ran away.
No, he's still here. So I'm putting you in the call because I think it'll come better when it comes from you. Are you getting the phone call, Joe? Pick up.
I can't pick that up, or I'll get rid of our other caller.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, can you pick it up and then put the other caller back
in? No, because I have multiple callers.
So let me hang up on you now. Can you add that person in, and then can you add Joe? Can you add both those guys in?
I had the virus
just leave
4 times this week.
Yes, and well, then the other guy's going to have to call back in, I guess.
No.
Oh, you're going to add him in there. So you've had the virus 4 times.
I feel much better.
Yeah.
Sound like you're feeling better.
It sounds like you're feeling better.
Has our show adequately affected you? Are you scared now that you've listened to our show?
No, you guys make me feel much better, especially Howard.
Oh, okay.
This virus is no big deal. I've had I had 110 fever the other day. No big deal. Take a couple of Tylenol and you'll be fine.
It sounds like he has 4 voices.
Yes. Have you been able to get toilet paper?
Yes, I'm using. I'm not a dirty wiper anymore. I could just jump right in the shower right it off.
We hope that our show taught you something, and that could have been.
Yes.
Let me ask you this: Does your shower? Let me ask you this: Does your shower have a removable nozzle, like a removable shower head, so you can get
absolutely yes
all the nooks and crannies?
Yes, variable power.
You need to put it on maximum power, by the way.
Wow, he sounds awful.
You sound like you're ready.
Not awful. So much better.
You sound like you're ready to meet Jerry Lewis.
Oh,
Mickey Rooney.
Or Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney.
You can tell him about all of your virus days. And I hope this show doesn't get ended because of mention.
yes. How much of this is woohoo virus, and how much of this is just pure vape?
Yes.
No, I don't vape. I'm not a vapor.
Will the vape?
This is a virus.
Oh, it's a virus.
Will the vape help this pandemic?
Is this?
I've been tested. I've been tested 4 times.
Is your name Dr. Fauci by any chance?
Well, I can't say right at this moment.
Okay. Wow. There is.
We'll just call him Dr. Vapey.
There's a good chance, yes.
Some of our listeners believe that you might be Dr. Fauci.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I kind of look like Alfred E. Newman, huh?
A little bit.
Do cough drops help with this coronavirus?
Coronavirus, yes. I Corona.
Sharona, yes.
I Corona.
Now, Joe just got rid of Howard, and will not bring him back for any reason. I'll really bring him back.
Fine.
I didn't get rid of anybody. He hung up.
Oh, he did?
Cool.
Oh, no, he's still here. He's still here. So at least we have one caller out there who has gotten something from Howard, and it might be this guy here.
So, but by the way, Dr. Fauci, Howard thinks that I should move to the country and buy a shotgun. What would you say to that?
Oh, I forgot to add that to the list.
I don't think you can get bullets. You can get a shotgun, but you can't buy bullets. Shotgun. I don't think you can get the shells. Can I give a shout out to RD?
No.
Yeah, that's the question. No.
Give a shout out to RD. Everything's going fine.
Right.
The only thing, and wait, RD's in Sweden, right?
No.
Denmark. Oh, Denmark. Everything's fine in Denmark. Everything's fine. The only thing that's not there are the houses of prostitution. That's the only thing that you can't.
Who was the woman from Denmark? The movie star from Denmark. What was her name?
Was it Yishi Deregard?
No.
The movie star from Denmark.
I'm really worried about the doctor's voice.
Yes.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
I had that respirator, so it's a little sore.
Let me ask you this: Did the throat lozenges help?
21 days.
21 days. No. Okay. No help.
No.
Are you spending any time in the sauna or the steam room?
No.
I think.
Do you at least live in a nice neighborhood?
No, I live there, not a. Well, I don't want to use that word.
Wuhan.
We'll just call it the woohoo. Call it the woohoo.
Woohoo.
Woohoo. Sorry.
Woohoo. You too.
Yes. Woohoo. Woohoo.
So you had the woohoo.
Don't let the fault. Don't let the
do realize
fool you. Woohoo to you too.
You do know that a woohoo is a chocolate. You do know a woohoo is a chocolate drink, so you're referring to black people.
That's a Yahoo.
Yeah, I guess.
Woohoo.
Yoo-hoo.
Call it what we want.
Yes.
Woohoo's not. Wait, where is Woohoo? It's Yoo-hoo that's a chocolate drink, not a Woohoo. Or a Woo Woo. Can you woo woo woo?
Give it
Now,
a woo.
Dr. Fauci,
Yeah.
have you ever been to Denmark by any chance?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Denmark. Have you been to Denmark?
No.
Well,
People left in Denmark.
what's that?
Good place then for me to go.
Yes.
I think you do fine there. Yeah.
You might do very good.
It's been a long time since I've talked to you boys.
Yeah, we missed you.
Woohoo.
Yes.
Woohoo,
What
woohoo to
I
you
say,
too.
boo? What's the matter?
Just
Oh
saying.
my God.
I've
been a long time.
been watching a lot of porn.
Oh, come on. Disgusting.
You know what? They say what do they? You know what? On Pornhub, what I've noticed is they have a toilet paper in there when they actually. Let me see here if I have my. What am I
By
doing?
the way, I sent you a link.
Yes.
You know that? Did you get my link?
No.
You know that Babe Ruth had in 1918 he had the virus twice, not just once, twice, and survived.
The Yiddish flu.
No, the Spanish flu. You stupid.
My bad. My
Don't
bad.
be stupid.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm.
Yes. Wow. I think he's not doing so well.
No, I'm not doing well. To be honest, I've been lying. This is gonna get me. This probably could be the last time I talk to you.
Yes. How do you want to when you do die? How do you what do you want done with your remains?
I don't care. I'll be dead. What do I care?
Well, some people, they want.
Have you seen been on my website?
No.
Goatsy.com.
Goatsy.com.
Now, is there any last request before you do pass away?
I hope that you get that tongue scraper business off the ground. I think that will be a big effort in eradicating this
Wuhan?
coronavirus.
Doctor, is female squirting real?
I never encountered it. I think it's a myth, an urban myth.
This guy can't even talk.
Just a lot of juice.
We think it's real.
I think that there's a lot of evidence that it is absolutely real. But that one would be for a little bit of a later show. And I got to say that laughter is good.
Yes, laughter is good.
Best medicine.
Absolutely.
Except for maybe my matzo ball soup I made yesterday. It was absolutely ridiculously good.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been a
Any
slice, all yours.
any final words before you leave?
Now, wait. I was going to ask, before he leaves, I was going to ask Dr. Fauci a question.
Okay.
What do you think? Did he answer the question? Because Howard says that I should buy a firearm, leave the country. Oh, you said I couldn't get you said I couldn't get bullets.
No, I don't think you can. They've tripled and quadrupled, and you live in California. You're not going to get a gun in California.
No. Yeah, the prices for firearms have, I think, have gone up very dramatically.
Do you own a gun?
No, I used to, not anymore.
Would you ever consider suicide?
It has crossed my mind.
It's always kind of like committing.
I'll be honest with you. There have been times that it has crossed my mind, particularly when I was younger.
Didn't you try to hang yourself in there? You failed.
Yes, I did when I was younger.
Good memory.
Yes.
Well, I was the attending physician, but he was too young back then to remember.
Thank you for helping.
Thank you for yeah. Well, but I didn't need a physician. I tried to do it. I tried to do it.
That Bill Wagner is in the witness protection.
Yeah, yeah. But I actually tried to do it. Did you ever see Officer and a Gentleman? I tried to do it like that guy, and the shower head. It was in the shower, but the thing broke. Something broke when my weight was too big, and it broke, and I ended up hurting my rear end.
I understand that the inventor of the members only jacket has passed away last month.
Oh, really?
Yes. Google it.
All right, only a few minutes of that, Joey.
A few minutes? You mean a couple seconds?
Yeah, I know. They will.
Well, I'm gonna say goodbye to you. Can I use the N-word before I leave?
No.
Please get the hell off.
Go away.
Leave us.
You've given me nothing to live by except I should kill myself. But you should kill yourself first and show me how to do it.
Goatsy.
Well, there's a book I recommend.
Okay.
The Final Exit?
Yes, sir. Final Exit.
I just dumped him. He's gone.
I think that'll be like a #1 book pretty soon for this pandemic, The Final Exit. Because a lot of suicides are going to go out there. And, if you're rather than starve, I think I don't know how. I think we got to talk about suicide during the pandemic. What's the best way to do it? We don't want to starve. And what's the least painful way to die? Is Howard still on, by the way?
I don't know.
Has Howard gone too?
He's on, but I don't know if he's answering.
He probably won't answer.
All right.
And if he's not going to answer, it's not going to be a big loss if we end the show now. Wait a minute. He's calling me again. Is he calling you? Yes, sir.
That was very rude, removing me like that.
I did.
Well,
I moved you clean, right from the show.
And I don't know how well can we hear Dr. Pat Campbell.
He started threatening with the words. I kind of.
I didn't use the word. I asked if I could use it.
Yes.
You're
no.
live wire.
Nicotine. I was going to say nicotine.
Nicotine.
Okay.
Nicotine.
Nicotine Garden.
Yeah.
Boy, sounds to me like a hypocrite lives in fear of words.
Listen,
The
man.
actor.
You know what? We've been kicked. Our show has been taken down a couple times already.
Hey, you live in
I
fear.
have
That's
no
all right.
fucking problem
Fear
of
takes
any
you too.
word.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm not afraid of any word. I just don't want the show to get attacked for.
You're very shrill.
Endlessly.
You're afraid of some words. That's all right. Big actor. Why don't you act brave?
Yeah, he's right.
Okay. All right.
Do your own. Let me
Say
show
that
you.
word all day.
You know what? If you know how to fight really good and fight the system, go do your own show and act as brave as you want. This show will be over if we say any words like that.
Okay. Well, I just want to say good night.
I just want
Do you understand the community guidelines?
man to admit that he-
Do you understand the community guidelines, asshole? No,
very shrill.
you don't. So there, you don't.
You sound
If
very
you-
shrill. Why are
If
so
you
angry?
knew the community guidelines, you wouldn't ask dumb questions. Go
Well,
on.
just admit that you're fearful. You
Go
live
on.
in fear.
Go on.
Ah.
Go on.
You're an actor.
Afraid of nothing. Fuck off. Go on.
Oh, you sound very upset about it.
It's stupid.
I can't
Ooh.
read emotion.
It's like, you know what? If you're up against
Ended on it. You
a
couldn't
group
read
of guys that can really hurt you, and then say, "Or you know what? I like doing this, so I don't want to be kicked off for hurting community guideline standards." And also, there's no
afraid.
reason for that. There's no
Censorship.
reason for that.
Censorship's taken us down a couple times. All right.
Well, Jake should just admit that he's afraid.
Afraid of what? Our show's gotten taken down a couple times, you jackass. How else do I have to explain it to you?
Why are you yelling?
Because you're so dense.
He's doing it on purpose. All right, folks, listen.
You're a fearful man, and you can move on.
Okay, we'll move on. Okay,
all right.
Where do you want to go, Brian? Let's go.
Joe, I think it's time that we end this show.
What?
And as I've said before, and from one of my favorite movies, Hombre, and I'll add some dialogue to it. We all got to die sometime. It's just a matter of how and when.
Amen.
Thank you. Actually, it's just a question of how and when. That's it. All right, let's go. Let's call it a day.
Get off the call.
Like and subscribe if you like it. If you don't,